And we recognize that maybe the information was presented, but that it just wasn't remembered. And that really, again, getting back to what if someone told me in a different language for the first time information, and then assess my understanding after that presentation? It probably wouldn't be very good. It probably looks similar to this graph, just with different information on the graph. So we're just being able to see that sometimes it takes multiple times of repetition and ways of learning. There are different learning styles that people have, whether it's visual, audio, or kinesthetic. Being able to understand and grasp the concepts that may be very unknown to them. So the first type treatment that we'll really focus on, that I'll focus on for the presentation today, is peritoneal dialysis. So peritoneal dialysis is the process of filtering your blood using your peritoneal membrane. The dialysate solution, which is shown in this image, is the blue fluid. And the fluid fills in the empty space in the peritoneal cavity, and the dialysate soaks there, or more clinically, it dwells in your peritoneal cavity for a prescribed amount of time. After that amount of time has elapsed, the fluid would then be drained out, which you can see here in the picture is demonstrated by the yellow fluid. So there are different types of peritoneal dialysis, and the first one that I'll talk about is continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis, or for short, CAPD. So this treatment is done during the day by hand or manually, and treatments are called exchanges. On average, there are about 4 exchanges throughout 24 hours. And again, we'll speak on generalities for the purpose of this presentation, because we're not making any medical recommendations to anyone. That's really up to the doctor and just prescribing how much is needed for the specific individual. And each exchange, when you're actually hooked up to the fluid and doing the exchange, is about 30 to 45 minutes. And talking about an exchange in our next slide, is the exchange is the process of filling the peritoneal cavity, hence peritoneal dialysis, with the fluid, which is referred to as dialysate. And then from there, you let the fluid dwell or soak in the peritoneal cavity. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, after that time has elapsed, can it be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours on average, and then from there, you drain it out and then put new fluid in. So it's kind of referring back to the old days of our high school biology of diffusion and osmosis. So some of us may have a love-hate relationship with high school biology, but that's how it works. So, but I think a common example that I think of that most people can relate to is if you were to go home and cut up some strawberries and then pour some sugar on them, let it sit there for 2 or 3 hours or however long you'd like. Over time, the longer it sits there, that fluid is going to be drawn out of the strawberries. And so that's a similar process with the dialysate fluid, is it draws the fluid out of the capillaries, the blood vessels in your peritoneal membrane. So in talking about the next type of peritoneal dialysis is continuous cycling peritoneal dialysis, or for short, CCPD. Some people also refer to it as automated peritoneal dialysis, APD. Automated meaning that you're using a machine. The treatments are done with a machine, usually at night while the patient sleeps. And on average, it's about 8 to 12 hours every day. So these are just a couple of pictures of the different machines that different companies use. So depending on which company, for those who are patients or caregivers, depending on which company you're trained at, will dictate what type of machine you would use. But it is very travel-friendly, and also it's very relatively light. So it can range anywhere. I know the newer models are closer to about 18 pounds. Some of our older models are about 25, 30 pounds. So it's not a big, huge refrigerator that you're lugging around. As I know, back when we had told the audience, we had a couple people who are doing in-center